Jazz hands. The duty's owed. I don't know how many times I've said it.
You might want to start
Dotting your I's and crossing your T's.
Or the hammer will come out. Yeah. I'm the new IT guy. Just be able to log in on your phone, your iPad, your iPhone. I don't know what those are.
We're not Droid compatible. We're kidding.
No, we go
just not Shelly's.
Yeah.
Just not Shelly's Droid.
She's got a Google phone.
You don't have to worry about any of that. Stay in your pajamas at home.
Just don't turn the camera on.
Right. Well, don't take us into the bathroom.
Welcome to episode 45 of The Weekender. I'm your host, Brandon Roberts, along with...
Vandana, Bhalla! Jazz hands.
Welcome back to the show.
Thanks.
I thought it was important to bring you back because I think I want to take this show off and really just kind of let you go off.
Wait, what?
This last week you put out a weekend or a broker insight, and I thought it was very relevant to a lot of things that are going on. Mm-hmm. And I'd like to expand a little bit on that too. I know there was a scenario that just happened on one of your listings in a showing too. I don't know if you want to share that, and then we can kind of dive into this issue a little bit deeper.
God, there's so much that's just happened in the last week that I'd love to dive into. I don't want to make this a 30-minute weekender, but I think there's some really important things. And so the scenario that actually happened with me, and this happened yesterday, I was in the midst of I received an offer for a client of mine. The seller property's been on the market for quite some time. Seller said that they want to accept the offer. The buyer's agent called me and said, here's the terms that the buyer's willing to take. And I said, here's the terms that the seller's willing to take based off of discussions with them. And so they wrote up an offer. Great. Well, they didn't actually put in every single term, especially the clause that said as is. So I went in to write the counteroffer. Surprise! As I go into the counteroffer for that same property, it's the same buyer that came to me for the same property
a week earlier,
1 week ago, with a different agent, a different buyer's agent. And it's not even a matter of it wasn't even a month. There's barely any way for them to abandon that client, right?
Okay, so let's stop there. Because typically what we find is we have one of our agents coming to us saying, hey, I showed this property, and then they went around and bought it through somebody else.
Right.
This is the flip side. We're actually on the listing side.
I didn't know what to do. I sent a message to all the brokers and I was like, so I'm usually on the other side of this. I'm not sure how to handle it because I know that when I'm sitting in front of a panel for arbitration, this is how I go off about the listing agent. Right. So here I am, the listing agent, that's like, crap, how do I handle this? Because my fiduciary responsibility is to my seller.
That's right.
Right? So my job is to accept that offer or to present it to my seller based off of the terms and allow them to agree and then let the buyer's agents duke it out. Well, I actually had a scenario one time where I brought the listing agent in and the listing agent was also responsible for paying the commission in the arbitration.
Right.
Because, well, I'm just that good at it. But usually that's not the whole scenario. Yeah, still undefeated on that. Knock on wood. Sorry.
But that brings up a point that you're undefeated because you look at the complete package before we go into an arbitration.
Yeah.
And you communicate with our agent basically saying you have a case or you don't have a case.
Right.
And what we're finding is a lot of people aren't having a case because they don't have a buyer broker agreement, they don't have a fully executed agreement by the broker. There's all kinds of reasons why they're not going to be entitled to a commission. So at that point, all we can do is basically bluff our way through it, right?
Right, which is also a scenario that occurred this week. Mm-hmm. It was a buyer-broker agreement that came in, and I'm sitting here trying to fight for the agent to get their commission paid on a transaction. They showed a property. Again, now I'm on the reverse side of this, right, as the broker, saying, okay, well, you showed that property first, so you would technically be procuring cause. However, your buyer-broker agreement isn't fully executed. What am I supposed to do with that? Because guess what? Nevada law says that in order for it to be a valid agreement, it has to be presented to all parties, which means that if you are getting a buyer-broker agreement signed, the buyer should get a copy of that, the fully executed copy. That means you've signed it, the buyer signed it, and a broker has signed it. All three people have to sign it in order for it to be fully executed. And a lot of agents are missing that. Now, here's the other thing. You know what else the agents are missing? The duty's owed. I don't know how many times I've said it. I think I've turned blue. Right? Because the duty's owed if it's not turned in and it's not signed and dated before the buyer-broker agreement, the listing agreement. Any agreement that you do, a new home builder agreement, which is what my broker insight was, you're also in violation of NRS and NAC.
Yeah, so it's that one we can't let slide.
No.
We've got these buyer-broker agreements, these listing agreements. You're at closing and you're getting the broker's signature because all of a sudden you think, I need this to get paid.
Right.
Well, what you don't realize is you just marketed a property without fully having permission to market a property, which is again a violation of NRS.
Correct.
Right? And it states right at the bottom of that listing agreement, must be signed by the broker to be valid.
Right.
So.
And if you don't have the broker's signature, you don't have your signature, and you don't have the seller's signature on a listing agreement, and you haven't given that to the seller, they can actually tell you to take the property off the market, and you're in violation. They can file a code of ethics complaint against you. They can file a complaint with the Nevada Real Estate Division against you. I mean, it can, and I don't mean to be, that like freaking people out about this stuff, but it's so important to have your paperwork in order. And if you don't know what you're doing, you don't know how to get your paperwork in order, please hire a transaction coordinator. Amy is amazing at that. She will stay on top of it. She will make sure that you will get all of your documents signed, dated, timed in the proper order that you need to. She even helps with writing up some of the listing agreements. I mean, you should take advantage of that for what she charges. It's not enough. Yeah. I hate to say it, it's just not enough.
Yeah.
Right?
It's worth it for you guys to do it. You should be freaked out, because here's another scenario. You go through an entire listing, right? You list it, you put it on the market, you market it, you put it across the MLS, you're going to pay a co-op to the other brokerage, X Bananas, whatever, and all of a sudden you get to closing and that seller says, I'm not going to pay you a commission.
And you don't have a valid agreement, nor did you turn it over to the seller.
But not only do you not get your commission on that, you actually have to write a check to the other brokerage.
Yeah.
Because we have offered to pay them across the thing. A lot of people get very upset with us because we're kicking back documents from compliance and stuff, but you don't understand that it's really there to protect you and to protect us as a brokerage. So I don't want you to think we're picking on you guys, but it's very important that you follow the rules and fill that stuff out. You're getting paid thousands of dollars to represent somebody in a transaction, and one of your value adds and the benefits that you bring to them is that you have the paperwork and that you understand the paperwork, and you take on some of that liability. Well, if you're not taking on the liability and filling out that paperwork properly, I mean, you don't deserve to get paid anyway.
I'll keep their money. So
you're the one that's have to clean it up.
I'm the one that has to clean it up every single time. Yeah, so that's the other thing, right? Is that once you come and sit down, I mean, I sat down with that agent and I said, your buyer broker agreement isn't signed. By the way, can I see your duties owed? He doesn't have a duties owed. By the way, and I handed him a piece of paper and I said, can you tell me everything you've learned from me today? I want you to write it down. He just looked at me and I go, I'm serious, write it down. I want to know that you've learned from this. And the place to learn from this is not when you're sitting on the other side of my desk, where my hammer sits, right? You don't want to be on the other side of me and my hammer, right? You just want, which is legitimately a hammer.
If you missed this, I don't know if there was a big announcement or not, but there should have been. Her name is the Hammer, and she is in charge of compliance. If you end up in front of the division, or you end up with a complaint, or you have a complaint to file with somebody, you're going to be dealing with Vandana. So you might want to start
dotting your I's and crossing your T's.
Or the hammer will come out.
Yeah, don't cross your I's and dot your T's, because that's ridiculous. That's not the way you do it. Right. Don't do it off balance. I also don't like to see, like on buyer broker agreements, listing agreement, I don't like to see blank spots. Like that drives me bananas. And I mean, I wish that all agents fill that out, first of all, correctly, second of all, completely, and third of all, got them signed.
So if there's a blank that has nothing to do with the contract, what should you put in it?
Not applicable or lying.
Or an NA or something, right?
Not applicable.
That's
NA,
it.
Yeah, same.
Different.
Tomato.
Shorter.
What you said.
But yeah, so enough with scolding you guys. But
it's not scolding.
No.
Honestly, it's more of I hope you're learning from this, because that's what we do these for, right? We do the weekenders, we do the broker insights, we do sales meetings. We've sent out newsletters. I'm hoping that agents actually get the message so that they can, because we are better here, right? We expect you to be better here. And so if you are having compliance issues, contact me. I'm happy to walk you through the reasonings behind it, why we do what we do, which is what I did with that agent yesterday that had an issue with the broker additional commission. Like, how do I get that signed? How do I have my clients agree to it? Well, I simply called and said, can you explain to me why you don't want that signed? Why you don't want them to sign that broker commission form,
right,
or sign the buyer broker agreement? And here's the flip side of that, and why you should have it signed. Make it a part of your business practice. And if you need help with that, I'm good at it. Todd's great at it. Chris is good at it. Brandon thinks he's good at it. Janet's great at it. I mean, like, you have some amazing brokers that can help you do all sorts of fantastic things. Like, take advantage of that.
That's what we're here for, really.
Yeah,
so
take advantage of that.
We're not just here when you have an issue. We're actually here to help you make more money and get better at your skill.
Yeah.
So I just take advantage of that. Stay engaged and that type of stuff. And speaking of sales meetings, I mean, we had a good sales meeting this last week. We've messed around with some new technology.
Yeah.
It was a little bumpy.
Serious messed around.
Right, but it's good. So
we had some deja vu moments in there.
It was worth watching twice.
Totally. I love the introductions. They were great.
So we're working with that. Actually enrolled in an academy that I've been going through this week to get better and better at that. And one of the things I committed to was to slow it down a little bit, not try to use every feature all at once. So, but it'll be good. So coming up
shortly, vomit on our agents.
No, I'm gonna teach you guys. I'm gonna drag you guys kicking and screaming. I'm the new IT guy.
Nice.
This could be bad. But speaking of compliance and stuff, we have in a sales meeting coming up.
Yeah, and on the 21st, actually, I'm going to have one of the chief compliance officers from the Nevada Real Estate Division actually in our sales meeting to talk about the open house, some of the allegations, the disciplines. I mean, if you're not reading the open house, shame on you. That is like one of my favorite publications to read, just because I get to see who screwed up and how badly they screwed up.
It's like the Inquirer for
It really is. It really is. It's fantastic.
And they name names.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's good. So that's 2 weeks out.
That's 2 weeks out, yeah. But I do want to make a plug for script practice, just because I had an agent on my team actually that said to me, well, I've been trying script practice. I have a really hard time when I'm practicing or even when I'm speaking to a client. If they say something, it throws me off my script. And I said to her, that's exactly why you do it. You do script practice so that you don't get thrown off.
That's right.
You get your message straight. And I think that if you are having trouble, and I'm going to bring this back, watch how I do this. If you're having trouble getting your buyer broker agreement signed, script practice the crap out of that and get your buyer broker agreement signed so you don't have to worry about what are they going to say, why won't they sign this, so on and so forth. I'm going to plug that in.
Well, and I think it's good.
I don't know when it is, but I think that they should
do it like 3 days a week.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I think, right?
And so it's, watch for that in the agent's signature. You got the links in the newsletter. There's emails going out for that stuff, but log into that. I coach Brandy, and Brandy gets into that quite often, and I've just watched her skills of her communication with clients and prospecting and stuff has just gotten better and better and better. Her confidence level changes, right? So
we have so much to offer here at this company. It fascinates me that agents aren't taking advantage of it. With as many agents as we have, that those numbers aren't as high as they should. We should have 100 agents on that.
Or plus, yeah. And I know Shelly just this last week did a VA class. I think it was like 10 or 15 people in it.
Wow.
But I sat through it. I learned some stuff too. So I just think with the virtual world the way it is now, and the ability to be able to take advantage of that without having to drive across town, sit in an office, waste time commuting, to actually just be able to log in on your phone, your iPad, your iPhone. I don't know if droids work. No, I'm sure they do.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Or your Mac.
We're not droid compatible. We're kidding.
No, we go across all platforms.
Shelly's.
Yeah.
Just not Shelly's droid.
She's got to Google it. But we go across all platforms. But it's a tremendous opportunity to tap in and get that information without actually
having to physically drive somewhere, do your hair and makeup. You don't have to worry about any of that. We don't care what you look like. Yeah. Stay in your pajamas at home.
Just don't turn the camera on.
Right. Well, don't take us into the bathroom.
Right, that's happened, but not at our company. Not at our company. There was a Facebook post where somebody actually took it. That was pretty funny. So yeah, be conscious of that stuff. Be conscious of your backgrounds or your what's in the background. But overall, it's a good opportunity for you. So lots of good things happening. Seeing people in the offices, people wearing their masks. I think they're smiling under there, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But we'd love to see you in the office. If we don't see you in the office, we'd love to see you online. So, anything to add?
I think that's it. If you let me continue to talk, this will be 30 minutes. So.
Yeah. Well, Janet always likes them long, so let's keep it going. No, I'm just kidding. So, anyway, we look forward to seeing you Tuesday on the sales meeting if we don't see you before. Thanks.
Bye.